jumping to another mixtape though from a rapper that we've talked quite a bit about on the show, Vic Mensa. When was the last time we heard from him? 2018?
We haven't covered him since 2017, but he actually has released a lot of stuff that I didn't feel like we need to talk about, unfortunately. We talked about the autobiography in July 2017, so that was 3 years ago. I think the song that stood the test of time, one of his biggest hits was Liquor Locker on that track, which is not exactly a traditional rap song, much more melodic. But then since then, we had the Hooligans tape from the end of 2018, which had a few moments like Reverse and In Some Trouble, but wasn't very good. And then August 2019, a year ago, we had 93 Punks, his band project, which had a song called Camp America, which was bad. The whole project was very poor, and it had just these really like blatant, over-the-top lyrics about society and America, and like you could tell the heart was in the right place, but it just was rough. And I think this new tape, the V tape, you can tell that Vic has been grappling with the ups and downs of his career, and is presenting this as a bit of a fresh start, because he's kind of been all over the place, and he's also become a bit of a punching bag in terms of hip hop culture for things he said. And I am happy for this restart. But yeah, we haven't talked about him in a while because I wasn't a lot to say at the time.
It's funny, you're talking about how he's like grappling with his career over the last couple of years, and I wonder if the title of the tracks on this might be alluding to that, like Vendetta or Dirt on My Name or Too Honest or Rebirth. Pretty clear what he was trying to accomplish with this. Did you feel like it merits that comeback type label on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot. See, I've had to change my expectations of what I want from Vic Mensa so many times. And I think that's the thing with any longtime fans. And he's not someone who does big numbers. He hasn't. And that's something that academics has made fun of him for. But it's like, as all the actual Vic Mensa fans that because again, he came up with Chance the Rapper. He's been around a long time. People have known about him if they've been plugged in. And he had some really good tracks early on. And he also dabbled in a lot of different genres. I have no problem with changing up what you want to do, but it just seemed like he got away from stuff from a quality standpoint since the internet tape. And on this, I think, was it Dirt on My Name? Dirt on My Name, I like the track. It sounds awfully lot like Drake doing Money in the Grave, but that's fine with me. But yeah, I think for me, Rebirth was the highlight for me, because that's where I think he's most upfront about his self-flagellation, I guess. I dissed a mother's son. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Yeah. That's a direct reference to him speaking on XXXTentacion at the VMAs, was it, where his mother was in the audience after X had been killed. And again, not Vic was kind of saying some facts about the domestic violence and everything associated with X, but
maybe not.
He got quickly dogpiled on for the timing and the tact he used, and he seems to have since reckoned with that. So yeah, I mean, I think there's some moments here for Vic, and I'm again, it seems like I always say this about him, but I'm curious to see what's next.
Yeah, it's funny because I remember very clearly, like maybe not exactly what we said, but I remember like listening to Autobiography and like us being like, yeah, this was pretty good. Like Vic is constantly growing. He's probably never is going to reach those like Chance levels, but just a really solid pen game, really solid delivery. I kind of used to think, Vic had a shot at being like the Talib Kweli or like Lupe Fiasco of his like era, and now like what do you even see his ceiling being for this era? It's weird.
Well, and that's the thing too. DJ Booth had a great comp back in 2017 when the Autobiography comes out, because Vic has never shied away from talking about the struggles of his home in Chicago, and DJ Booth compared him and Chance, saying Chance was the Martin, and Vic was the Malcolm. And
Right.
at the time, it makes a lot of sense. But since then, Vic has just had nothing but starts and stops. And
Mhm.
Chance critically has since fallen off with the big day, yet Chance has never been more famous.
Right.
So it's like you can't, you can barely compare the two anymore. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, and again with Vic, like you remember, remember 4 years ago he was on Wolves
Yeah.
doing that SNL with Kanye, right? And he makes that song "You Mad," and he's just kind of been all over the place, and I hope he can just find something he wants to do, right? Because like the '93 Punks thing, you could tell he really was into that. It just wasn't any good, you know. And hip hop wise, I think he's a pretty solid rapper, as you said. But even if you want to do stuff like "Down on My Luck," probably my favorite song of his is this dance song, and has an awesome video, and that was where he kind of really jumped out to me post the internet tape. But like, yeah, I mean, in terms of his ceiling, I have no idea anymore. You know,
Yeah.
he's still signed the Rock Nation, and I think you can tell the Rock to a certain extent is still invested in him. He did pull in the St. John feature on this V tape. St. John, of course, is a global sensation with Roses, one of the biggest
Mhm.
songs of the year. That certainly wasn't cheap, that feature. So the Rock's is invested at least a little bit. So I don't know.
I also thought that was probably one of the better tracks on all this too. Too honest. He actually some of the lyrical content on there reminded me a bit of Logic. You know, he's talking about like his biracial identity
Mhm.
and um, just like how that's impacted him, things like that. You know, it's interesting because I thought this this seemed like very much Vic, like kind of like mid-tier Vic Mensa type stuff for the most part.
Right.
But compared to what he's been putting out, it's a huge step up. So it's hard to really, I think, leave this feeling super optimistic. But at least he's moving in a direction where I think he's finding himself again. I guess I'm grappling though with he obviously has larger aspirations as an artist, or at least interests. And I wonder if there's a way for him to channel those in a different way while also keeping true to that original rap sound that really
Yeah.
gained notoriety. It's hard. I guess I think of someone like Will Toledo, how we talked about car seat headrests and how they kind of created like that whole new band for their most recent drop. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, I think that even something like the autobiography, which is probably his best project since his debut mixtape. On that, you have probably a top three Vic song with "Say I Didn't," the first track, which is a
Mm-hmm.
classic like Chicago modern jazz rap track.
Yep.
I made my top 10 of the year. And then 2 songs later, you have "Rolling Like a Stoner," which, as you remarked at the time, just sounds like a blatant Cuddy clone, you know?
Yeah.
And the whole time, he's never been able to quite focus on what he wants to do. And personally, I want more Say I Didn't. That song's incredible. And I think one of my favorite moments of Vic's whole career is when him and Chance bury the hatchet at Lollapalooza in 2017, where Chance brings out Vic and they sing that song, and Chance is like doing the ad libs and stuff. And amazing moment for Chicago hip hop. And I just hope Vic can just get to a place where more people are just actually excited for his music again.
Well, I think this is a step in the right direction.